happy Wisdom Wednesday. Thank you so much for tuning in and for choosing to spend some of your day with me. It's your girl, Milagros here, and happy May. Happy May. Those of you who have been following me at all this year, and even if you haven't, I'm setting a monthly theme for all my videos and for all my Facebook stuff, and for myself, really, because I also believe in evolving and going through the personal growth and development and spiritual journeys. And so this month's theme, the theme of May, is allowing. Allowing more ease, more fun, more abundance, more love to flow into our lives. Last week, we focused on releasing and getting rid of all the things that block those things. And now we're going to focus on just allowing the flow of those things to enter into our lives. Now, this morning when I was working out, knowing that this was going to be my theme, knowing that this was what I was going to talk about in the video, as I was working out, the Frozen song, Let It Go, came on my playlist. That's right, it's on my playlist. I like to listen to Disney music. And not only do I listen to Disney music, but I know more songs and more words than my daughter does, and I'm very proud of that fact. Go me. Anyways, so the song comes on, and usually when the song comes on, I'm singing along with it at the very top of my lungs because I think that I am Elsa out in the frozen caps of the mountaintops, right? But today, because I was so focused on my workout, I was actually listening to the lyrics. And in the lyrics, she says, let it go a bunch of times, and she says, I don't care what they're going to say. I love that. And when I heard that, I was like, yes, Elsa. And then as the song goes on, she says, it's time to see what I can do, to test the limits and break through. No right, no wrong, no rules for me. I'm free. Oh my gosh. I got so excited. I almost dropped the dumbbell on my toe, but I was so excited by these lyrics because, again, I had heard them many times. But the fact that she's saying, I don't care what they think anymore, and I'm going to start showing up in all of my fullness. I'm going to recognize that it's time to see what I can do. What am I capable of? This is the time. And there's no right or wrong. There's no mistakes or failures. There's just testing and figuring it out. And every time she finds a limit, she breaks through because that's what we do. And that's what makes life so amazing, right? We have to allow ourselves to fully show up in all of who we are. We have to allow ourselves to fully be present in this moment right here and right now. We have to allow the adventure and the fun of life to come to, for, and through us. Because again, when we're living our lives, and I say again because I've said this before in other videos, but when we're living our lives worrying about what other people think about us, not living in our fullness, not living to our full capacity, we find that we feel unfulfilled, we're usually ungrateful, we're frustrated, we're miserable, and sometimes we're depressed. If you've seen the movie Frozen, then you know that at the beginning of this movie, during her childhood and all the way up to her coronation, she was depressed. She was isolated. Listen, she was depressed. Let's just be real, right? She was so sad all the time because she was holding back who she really was. And I don't know about you, but I know that when I felt like before, when I was in a situation that I felt like I had to hold back because that's not what's expected of me, or because that's not what I'm supposed to do, or because I let myself believe that I'm supposed to act to this part or fit in this box or play this role, then I felt unfulfilled, frustrated, sad, miserable, depressed. Of course you're going to feel that way because you're not fully operating in all of the multifaceted, multi-passionate, multi-dimensional ways that you're meant to operate in. And here's the kicker. And you know this if you watch any of my other videos. You're the only one of you. I'm the only one of me. So the only person who can make an impact on this planet the way that I can is me. And the only person who can make an impact on this planet the way that you can is you. But we have to get out of our own way and start allowing ourselves to fully show up, to fully bloom. And when we do that, because we always have to start within, when we do that, we allow more fun and ease and abundance and love and adventure to enter into our lives. But it has to start right here. So I have a challenge for you. And by challenge, of course, I mean an opportunity. I have an opportunity for you over the next 7 days Do me, you, and everybody who you love and everyone who you hope to positively impact in this world, do us all a favor and spend the next 7 days really paying attention. When you go somewhere, when you're doing something, are you fully showing up? When you find yourself feeling kind of frustrated, are you going, this is frustration because I can't figure this out and it's new? And again, we just have to flip that and acknowledge that it's new. Or this is frustration because I don't want to say that thing and overstep my bounds. I don't want to, and sometimes that's true, but you know what I'm talking about here. And I don't want to say something and, overpower someone else. I don't want to be too bright of a light. I don't want to be my full self because they might think I'm crazy or they might think So what is it when you go to certain situations in certain places? The challenge is to pay attention to where you feel like you're not fully allowing yourself to show up. Where are you? And then why is it? Are you afraid? Are you worried about what they may think? Do you think that you're too much to handle? Like, what is it? Because we cannot rectify what we do not identify, which means we have to identify, why do I feel like that in that space? And once we look at it, we go, well, that's not really rational. And that's kind of silly. And that made sense when I was 9, but it doesn't make sense anymore. So I can go ahead and let that go, because even though April was the month of release, we're practicing releasing all the time. We focus on something for 30 days so we can get into a groove of doing it consistently, right? So then we recognize that and we can then release it. And when we release it, we allow ourselves to fully show up, because the world needs what you have. If you've heard me do any videos, if you've heard me do any talks, then you know that the chances of you being on this planet is 1 in 550 trillion. That's the chances of that sperm meeting that egg and coming to a full birth, which is you. 1 in 550 trillion. You are not here by accident. There was no mistake. And please know that of the 7 billion people who are on the planet, of all the people who have ever lived, and of all the people who will ever live, you are the only one of you. So when you fully show up in all of your wonder, in all of your glory, with all of your cray-cray, that's me, and with all of your multifaceted, multi-passionate, multi-dimensional self, you are doing a favor to everyone else on the planet, because then your life becomes a living example of really operating in that fullness, which leads to freedom, which opens up you for love and for all the other wonderful things that is your birthright. That is your birthright. So, and I want to say this, if you feel like you can't operate in your fullness because someone else might get offended by your fullness because you're not fitting into a box, please understand that that has less to do with you and more to do with them. That is their stuff. When people want you to fit into a box and you don't, they're not as mad as the fact that you don't fit into the box as they are that you're free and they're not. What? Because you're living in a place of freedom holds up a mirror to them, and they have to look at their own reflection, and it makes them mad. I'm not operating in my fullness and my freedom, and if I'm not, and I'm living in a box, then everybody else should live in a box too. Not in 2018, okay. So my challenge is for the next 7 days to pay attention to where you're at, and when you show up in certain places, are you fully showing up in all of your fullness? And if not, why? What are you afraid of, right? Then whatever that thing is, just release it. Don't feel like you have to go to therapy for 96 years or do a bunch. Just choose, say it out loud or to yourself, I'm going to release this fear and I'm going to allow love to flow in its place, right? And just kind of declare it. And when you declare it, make it like a declaration. Like, I do declare, and then move on. Move into that space of the flow. Move into that space of love and fun and ease and adventure and all that other wonderful stuff, because you deserve it. And when we operate from that place and we live more like that, super sparkly everything, you already know. So that's all I have for you this week. I hope that this was beneficial. If you like it, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already, please subscribe. If you know someone who could use this, please go ahead and share it. And if you haven't already, get on over to my website, click on the purple toolbar, and sign up for my mailing list so that you can get these videos every Wednesday in your mailbox with updates and information about events and community stuff that's going on. So that's all I have for you. I hope you have a great rest of your week. I hope you have a fantastic weekend. And I hope that over the course of these next 7 days, you really open yourself up to allowing fun and ease and love and laughter and adventure to flow into your life, because that's what you deserve. Period. Love you. Bye.